Hi, it's Matt Simmons. I wrote the review for the EVAnnex seat covers that you probably saw on the Teslarati website. It's these guys here. I had to take my front seat cover off for a service issue, so I'm going to be putting it back on today, and I'm going to show you how easy it goes on. But first we'll talk about some of the advantages and disadvantages of the covers. It is a rare sunny day here in the middle of February in Pittsburgh, and so all the windows are down, sunroof's open, and it seemed like a good day to put my seat cover back on. So first of all, let me tell you what the differences are. You'll see that the color behind me is the regular, this is the factory seat that the cover is going to be going on, and this is the seat that has the cover on it. Now you can see most of the details in how the seat covers are put together when you read the blog post, which you'll find on Teslarati.com. You'll also find it on Tesla Pittsburgh at some point. I will duplicate the post on my website. And I'm not going to go into all the issues, but you can see that the colors are fairly close. I will say that having had the cover off for about a week now, the difference is even more noticeable after having had it on. Now you're probably wondering, what was the service issue that required me to have the seat cover taken off? Well, quite simply, my seat was a little bit loose, and I wanted to have them tighten the bolts underneath that hold it to the sliding tracks and things like that. I think that when I do my launches, in addition to being hard on my tires, it's probably hard on the torque on the bolts. So I wanted to have those all tightened back up, and it does seem to be better now. So not a big deal, but something I didn't want to have the seat cover in the way, because there are straps and stuff that go underneath the seat that I figured would be too distracting for the ranger who is going to be working on it. So we're going to put it back on today, and I'll show you how easy that is. But first, let's talk about some of the major issues with the seat covers. I really shouldn't say issues with these seat covers. These are actually really good covers. It's really more issues with the sun glare. You can see the bright shadows we're getting this time of day. But let me just run through this real quick. Basically, it's neoprene. It has piping on it. It comes in a couple different colors. The main issue that I have on a regular basis is the seat controls are blocked, as you can see. In fact, they're way up underneath there, so that kind of blocks them. Now, one side effect I've noticed is most of the cars, the seat belt tends to bang against this receptacle here. Tends to bang against the seat bottom, and the cover actually prevents that, so it does make the car a little bit quieter. The seat heaters are not as effective. Position 3 is really the only one I get any benefit out of. Other than that, the cover makes the seat a lot warmer to the touch when you first get in the winter. And the color is a fairly close match, I would say. The piping is complementary. I don't know that I would have gone with white, but it does match the silver trim around the cabin pretty well. In normal light, it may not come across on the video. These are a little strange as far as they go. They certainly tighten up the fit here, but it does make the armrest a lot softer, which is to say also that the seats are much softer, in addition to not being cold to the touch on a cold winter morning. So that's a benefit. The main benefit I notice is not only are the headrests and the rest of the seat softer, but it's grippier. You don't slide across this. It does make getting in and out a little bit harder because you can't just slide across the leather. But considering how much better it is in cornering, I think it's a worthwhile compromise. So let's talk about how they go in. Again, you have to pardon me kind of wincing into the sun. It's really bright today. It's kind of nice. Now, there are two basic pieces to each cover. This is the bottom cushion, and then there is the seat back. So let me lay these out so you can see how they kind of look together. Okay, these are the two main pieces to each seat cover. There's the seat backrest, and there's the bottom. Now you'll notice that these are fully lined and protected on the bottom, so they'll protect your seats. There's quite a bit of padding. All the seams are finished. And one of the other advantages, I guess I could say, to it is the use of pockets. You get two pockets in the front, as opposed to the one pocket in the regular factory seat. Although I find that this actually makes them less useful, because I can't put the phone, which is typically in my seat pocket, in the middle anymore. It has to go to one side or the other, which gets in the way of my legs. Alright, I'm now in the back seat of my Tesla to show you one of the main benefits of having the seat covers as far as the back seat passengers are concerned, and that's these seat pockets. The regular Model S does not come with seat pockets, so there's nothing to put, or nowhere to put stuff. As you can see, they're just that black plastic. Or in the case of an X, they're shiny plastic. I'm sure there'll be an X version of these coming out soon. And one of the downsides of having a pocket back here, if you have children, I almost hate to look inside. Yep, as expected. Ew. All right, so there's my seat cover waiting to go back inside the car. You might be wondering, how can you tell one from the other? It's quite simple, really. There's a slit on the outboard side of the seat cover where that side airbag comes out. So that's really the only thing you have to make sure when you put it in. Now, one other precaution. It's not really a precaution. Let's make life easy for ourselves, shall we? Walk around your horrifically dirty car. I mean, it is still winter here. And you're going to want to move this seat up and tilt the seat back a little bit so you can reach underneath, and probably a little forward because you're going to be sitting behind the seat more than you are in front. Alright, so let's get that put in the car. You're going to see me going from the front seat to the back seat quite a bit here, so I kind of want to keep you oriented where we are. Back of the driver's seat, I'm going to reach underneath here, undo those clips that hold the skirt underneath the seat on, because that's going to be important. There, you see, we have that loosened up. Alright, now move around to the front. Now, if you've already had the seat cover in like I have, you kind of know that your straps are adjusted properly. If this is the first time fitting the seat cover to the car, you'll need to adjust these straps somewhere in the ballpark. Alright, first things first, I'm going to kind of loosely drape it over the seat, keep the side strap out of the way. You don't want to pull this really tight. First step in that process is to get these ends of the straps. Basically, you're going to shove them through the seat. You're going to be careful. Obviously, you don't want to wreck your leather. I also advise that you clean the seat very thoroughly before doing this, or else you're just going to end up with a lot of grit underneath your seat cover, and you're going to sand it into a fine powder, and then someday you'll take off the seat covers to clean them and discover you wrecked it. Alright, so I'm going to pull those straps from the other side and come back to this side and just start shoving a whole bunch through. Now, generally, I think you want to go somewhere to about this seam all the way through that gap, as I recall. So we'll double check that, but I think that's about right. Okay, so I've pulled that through from the back seat and shoved it from the front seat so that that first seam is now through the cushion. Next, you want to fish underneath and grab the straps that came from the back side, bring up here to the front where you can hook them up. You really want to hook them up where you can see them, or at least be within sight of them, so that you can tighten them from the front side, which is easy to do by pulling the end of the strap once it's in place. I can't really video me doing that, and my kids are busy doing chores, so you're just going to have to take my word for it. Okay, again, disregard the salt. It's still winter here. You can see I've got the buckles hooked up through the seat. Here comes the usual disclaimer. Lots of wires and stuff going on underneath here. So you're going to want to be careful with all of these straps to make sure you're not impinging on a wire. Once you have those tight, you see how this is not fitting properly. That is fitted properly. I'll probably tighten that too when I'm done, because I haven't done that since I got it. You're going to pull this around and actually fit this cover to the seat better, like that. And then you want to basically strap those suckers down, or pull these ends down as tight as you can. I don't think I can do it one-handed. You can pull from both ends. You can pull from this side of the buckle here, which you can see is where I've loosened it, and you can also pull from this side, whichever is easiest. You basically want to get that as tight as you can stand it, because this is your main interface with the car, to know what the car is doing on the road. So you don't want to be sliding around on a seat cover that's sliding around. It would kind of defeat the purpose of having a seat cover that keeps you in place more. It's also very important when you're putting the seat covers on to make sure that you have it centered on the cushion. As you can imagine, you can have this off right to left a little bit. Luckily, with that seam for the pocket right dead center, it's fairly easy to do on the driver's side. On the passenger side, you kind of have to eyeball it. Once you have that fastened in with the back straps, it's time to do the across the seat strap. Now this one, same thing as before. I'd recommend, if you're doing this the first time, you're going to want to loosen this one way up and then tighten it using this strap. Mine's fairly close because I just took it off the seat not too long ago. So I'm actually going to just hook it up and then tighten it as necessary. Alright, so the lower cover is on. Now I need to put on the upper cover. Now basically this is going to slide right over the top of that seat. I have the sunroof open. You can do it through the sunroof, or you can just do it with the roof closed or in a solid roof car. It's not really difficult. You just have to kind of shimmy it around. But since the sunroof is open, I'm going to use that. It really is just that simple. It just slides right down and you end up with it kind of looking like this. Now's a good time to point out one of the things I've noticed is that in addition to not being slippery when you're taking corners, it's also not slippery when it comes to collecting hair and fuzzies and things like that. So there's my cat hair. So your sheets definitely do look a little bit dirtier if you have a dark-haired animal, your kid, your wife, or self, but cleans pretty easily. And while we're talking about how easily it cleans, I just want to point out that these covers have been on for a few months and I haven't cleaned them yet. So I'm going to get myself out of the way here. But you can see they're getting some foot marks and stuff on them. There's kind of a goo line, as we call it, where their foot goo goes. Now, generally, a little bit of water and a little bit of rubbing, and that'll come right off. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet because, well, I mean, have you seen the outside of the car? It doesn't make much sense to clean the inside of the car that thoroughly when the outside looks as horrific as it does. Okay, so back in the front seat, same drill. There's Velcro here. As best I can tell, it's completely meaningless, so disregard it. You're basically just going to take this piece and you're going to shove it back through that seam in the seat. Grab it from the other side and pull it tight. Alright, so I'm back in the back seat again, and I know what you're thinking. Why would they put Velcro there if I don't get to use it to stick to something? And how come there are no straps? Because I know you're really into this like strapping seat cover bondage kind of thing at this point. Well, it's real simple. First of all, there's no straps because there's no way to go around the top of the seat without it being really obvious. Second of all, the Velcro is blocked by Tesla's seat skirt. Okay, we're under the seat now. Stay with me now, and I'll show you what we're doing here. Underneath here, this part that's pulled tight, that's the lower seat cushion. This, what appears to be black here, that is the part of the front seat cover that we pulled through. This is the Tesla seat skirt. This is the seat cover bottom skirt with this branding by my children. Now that's why I can't understand what the Velcro would do. How in the world do you get the Velcro from this side to touch the Velcro on that side without removing the Tesla factory skirt, which seems like an unnecessary complication to me. So here's what I recommend. You already got your lower cushion under there. You pull that piece all the way through as tight as you can. That's through the cushion part of the top cover here. When this seat moves forward or tips forward like normal, you will no longer need to worry about that falling through because it's so tight. The two cushions will hold it there. Then you're going to clip the factory skirt, then clip the seat cover skirt. Alright, so now everything's hooked up again. I'll show you the final result. Look how nice and clean that looks there. Nice and tight like it should be. But wait, you're going? It seems to be ill-fitting. What's with the lumps? Well, remember I said that this is the back seat where the kids are? Let me show you how to get rid of the lumps. Go into the pocket. Yes, another dirty Kleenex. Another one. They're all over the place. Now I know what you're going to say. Why are we then allowing them to weaponize the Kleenex? Well, it's a quiet car, unless you have a back seat full of kids sniffling. Sniffling kids do not really make for a good drive. Alright, all that winter muck is going to stay there for a while. This winter muck is going to stay here for a while. But, oh, yeah, it can't, I don't fit. Wake up, my dear. Wake up. She's falling asleep. Hey, oh look, there's Teslarati. We're going to go for the, give me my, oh my gosh, that feels so much better. There we go. Okay, back into our place. Now, once you have your seat cover back in place, remember, you got to watch all those straps and stuff underneath the seat because of all the gear that Elon's put under there. You're going to want to make sure that the cover feels tight. Get your hands on the wheel, kind of adjust yourself. Make sure there's not a lot of extra sliding around. And once you have that all set, you and your seat covers will be ready to keep the seats clean for another, well, at least until your seat works its way loose again and you have to take it off to have the service guy come. Okay. Anyway, so that's basically my review of the EVAnnex seat covers. and how easy they are to put on, and they look pretty good too. And I highly recommend them. As you probably read in the blog, I'm quite satisfied with these covers. They did a very nice job. They're very well made, and they're pretty easy to put on as long as you're fine with crawling under your seat and touching dirty Kleenexes. So, thanks for watching. Check out the other videos.